What's up, you all? It's MJ here. The professor is in, and it's good to be back yet another week. Had a great outing in Los Angeles last week. Want to say thanks to my folks at 1010. And well, actually, we performed at Free Space, which is a new performance and event space in Inglewood, California. My friends who are the owners of 1010 Wine and Events got another place, and I think it was called the Savoy before, but now have turned it into a live music spot. They have DJ stuff as well. So it was myself, Gerald, my man Paul Allen. We did a trio, a holiday flowing into the holiday, and it was great. It was a great time. I got to see some old friends, fans who haven't seen us in a while because as many of you all know, we're switching our paradigm, and it's basically the whole idea of the same Marcus Johnson vibe, but with new spaces and being able to control our destiny, doing things like this, going live on YouTube, on IG, and then using this to one spread the love and what we do spread the flow throughout the world, and then be able to control our venues and our music. I was having some conversations with somebody not too long ago about the whole idea of is what's really interesting is like the whole idea of what happened to smooth jazz, and I believe that, and this was actually with a program director who I'm doing a show with coming up, and the idea of that if you love it, you'll kill it, and I think that people wanted to control it to such a degree that it lost its edge, it lost what it was to us, and people often ask me, well, Marcus, smooth jazz can't be doing anything because there are no stations. No, that's not true. All you have to do is go to a jazz festival and you see 50,000 people. How can you have 50,000 and 20,000 and 15,000, and then you go somewhere else in other countries, you have hundreds of thousands of people that go to these festivals? And, the whole idea is that it was, some people wanted to control it their way. I sat in meetings when I was at 105.9 And I was going into these marketing meetings and listening to the folk who were, you know, let's say I'm trying. You see me. I'm really like impromptu and getting around my words, right? But their business statistics and there's regression and there's sampling and there are things that you do in order to make sure that uh, you can define your market. And so I would sit in these meetings where, I'm a Georgetown trained decision sciences person, trained in regression and understanding how to create variables that allow you to say these are the characteristics that matter. And this is what like Meta and IG and YouTube and all those, with machine learning, that's what they do. So you sit in these meetings and you'd hear things basically saying that, target demographic that looks like me, meaning people, groups of people that buy things that look like me, they don't exist. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I went to law school with a lot of people who looked like me. And there were a lot of other law schools that had people that looked like me. Well, women, yes, we can do this and that and the other. What are you talking about? They're making the main decisions out here as it relates to, going out, having fun, traveling, girls' night out, all that stuff. Like, you're making the decisions in four corners and you're not really out there looking at what's going on. And I watched as we went from 100 and say 50 jazz stations to I think now there there are about 15 stations that report to Billboard. And I'm not taking anything away from anybody who is out there doing their thing. It's the way it is right now. It's like some people don't like streaming, some people don't like AI, but man, it's just really interesting, man, where you have 15 stations where you can be number one. So while I may get, this week, say 4 to 600,000 streams on all the different various platforms, you can get 200 or we'll say 600. Okay, like 600 versus 600,000. I'm gonna say it like that, right? And you can be that number there, and we have real statistics now, and we're not talking about that. And I'm gonna have Jay Lang on next week or the week after that as we talk about my performance in Norfolk coming up, so we can talk about our time in smooth jazz behind the curtains. And I lived in Washington D.C. and Washington D.C., the metropolitan area has it's known for having Prince George's County, which is the county with the most highest percentage of affluent African Americans. So, of course, we had a salesperson that was calling on businesses in Prince George's County at the time I got there, right? I wait, right? I was like, wait, you don't have a sales team going out to Prince George's County? Going out to Woodmore, the country club, the 10,000 square foot houses and 15,000 square foot houses that they have out there. You don't have anything going out there. And there's all this money out there. And these are the people who are calling in every day for your stations. And you're paying any attention to them. I mean, look, you don't have to have an MBA from Georgetown, to know that that doesn't matter. Just happens that we do have that. And with that, what are you doing? Soon as they did that, revenue increases, sent somebody out there to do that. What kind of business model is that? It's one that doesn't care. And so at some points you look at it and, maybe some of them feel as though they don't need it. And so you know, I, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So um, now we have the ability to do this stuff on our own. And so we can control the complete chain, the sales chain. And it is from being able to look at and as I go through this new platform that I'm using, I hope it's working. I see some people chiming in from IG. Miss Shannon, what's up? You got it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. And T. Anderson, what's up? Right back at you. Um, Maybe I'll do something when I get my handle on this new platform, and we'll have a whole bunch of new stuff coming in 26. But to talk about like how we can control everything, the whole supply chain, right? So it's the idea of controlling your tickets. Number one, using And if you're an artist or if you're a business, do you know how to use your analytics? Do you know how to turn those things into like real stats so that you can apply them to your business? This is decision sciences. And it's not just marketing and, well, I'm going to get this and I'm going to post. Yo, it was a long time ago that posting got squished. It's like a spigot, as my buddy would say, right? It's a spigot that got turned off a long time ago. That's why you have to. I really don't like the word boosting, but at the bare minimum, if you do something like that, but understanding lookalike audiences, and you should be, getting to a point where in your business or the business that you work for, or in your art form, that you understand there's an artist for Spotify. There's an or Spotify for artists. There's a YouTube for artists. There's an Amazon for artists. There's a Pandora marketing platform. There is Bands in Town. There is Songkick. What did I forget? Apple Music for artists. And when you put all that stuff together, you have power. And a lot of us have given our power away. Then you take that information, it tells you the top 10 cities you need to be in. It breaks it down by gender. I think even now, some of these things break it down by pronoun, these things that time spent listening, how many minutes, how many hours, what city, what country, et cetera, et cetera. And if, you look at the fact that like I'm doing this, if you look at the fact that I'm doing this off the dome, right? This is my freestyle. This is years of really getting into this and trying to understand the ecosystem within which I work. And so I always tell people you have to be students of your industry. So you get all the information, it tells you where you need to be. And then what do you do? Well, then you go to work. Then that's where you get a firm or you start working on, your ads, you start working on finding venues in these markets. And you'll have people that say, Marcus, well, I don't have any connects in blank city. Okay. Have you ever heard of Peerspace or Gigster or these like the Airbnbs for venues? Well, I have to rent out a venue. Wait a minute. So you go hang out at the club, you go hang out for piano lessons or singing lessons or studio time to make great content, but you're not going to invest money in a venue where you can invite your friends in? What sense does that make? And it's like Airbnb. So this is off time. Maybe it's a rooftop at an apartment building. Maybe it's a club that has some downtime and needs to make additional revenue. Maybe it's a backyard that somebody has that's on a riverfront and they just like to have music and entertain the arts. You don't know. But if you don't go to these places, man, you are leaving yourself out to like everything, right? So it is you are you willing, like, and I tell the artists all the time, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, please don't waste my friggin' time. Don't come to me. Don't come to me or an artist or I mean excuse me, or a venue or even a promoter if you're gonna deal with one, talking about this is what I should be paid. You should be paying me this. And I sat in a last January, I sat in a seminar and I was asking people, well, who has a business plan? Crickets. Well, what do you think you should be? Well, I think that I should be getting, somebody actually said $10,000 a performance. And I was like, okay, I agree with you. That's what you think, but let's break it down. So, when was the last time that you put, let's say at, $50 a person, what you got to put 200 people into a spot? Okay. To break even, for the club to break even on you have to have one, sell tickets at $50 and you got to put 200 people in the door, right? Yeah, Marcus, that's right. Okay. So, when was the last time you did that? Uh, uh, so I'm not saying that to say that you can't do that or that you're not worth that. But until you have the actual numbers that say, Marcus, I did it last week. I had a show in Los Angeles where I've been doing this. Here are the emails that I got because I use my ticketing platform. Whether you use a big tickets or an Eventbrite or a Posh or whatever that may be, here are the email addresses that I have from Los Angeles. Oh, by the way, here's the email addresses that I have in North Carolina where I'm going tomorrow, in Charlotte, and then in Greensboro the next day. Oh, and then the day after in Atlanta, all by car. Are you willing to do that? Let me tell you the behind the scenes of that. So, as we get into that, that's why I can call Leslie and Leah at 1010 and work with my friends Fern and Maisha at Black Vines, and then say, let's put something together where we can show people exactly how we're treating them to a great time, creating an activation that's an escape, and doing so in a way that allows people, everybody involved, to either get exposure and or make money, but with the idea of, let's say, you don't get as many people as you want, like our Charlotte show tomorrow. The tickets are really, they're not selling the way that I think that they should based on what I've done at other venues. That's okay. Because you know what? I have every one of those email addresses. And you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? We're going to put on one hell of a show. And we're going to have fun. And you know what's going to happen in 2 months? I'm going back to Charlotte. I don't have anybody telling me, well, you're saturating our market and maybe you shouldn't come back for 6 months. Cool, player. And you know what? I'm cool. Cool. I love you to death. Do you? I'm going to do me. That's the control we have. And then 2 months after that, guess what? I'm going to be back in Charlotte because it's one of my top 10 markets. And then in February, guess where I'm going back? Los Angeles, right? I'm in DC almost every other week doing what we do. Then it's my other 10, top 10 markets. So you put that together, then you can have an event in Los Angeles. And you can say, like, hey, man, I want to play for 1,000 people in Los Angeles in my own venue. Cool. Marcus, in the mirror, grow it, right? Because we're not doing that right now. Can we? Of course we can. And if you know me, will we? You know we will, right? So it's just a matter of time and faith, dedication, and a plan. It's the deeper model, having the dream that we'll be able to do this in all our top 10 markets every 3 months in our own venues with our own ticketing, with, customer relations management. You hear it as CRM, right? With our own CRM and building relationships with our people. I'm not. This is a great time to be alive. People are like, "Oh my God, AI and this and that and the other." Look, man, I can get something videotaped and get a caption in a couple of seconds, from chat or Claude. Yo, thank you very much, Mr. Altman. I appreciate it, brother, because then we can start promoting the way we need to. And the automation. This is a great time to be alive. This is not the time to be scared. You know what I mean? This is about making it happen, man. Your dream, being engaged in it. I am committed. What does engaged mean? Engaged means I'm not gonna make my ticket number tomorrow in Charlotte. And I'm cool with that. Because I know that I'm laying the seeds to the point where I will be able to make the number and I will exceed my number. No problem. Because I believe in me. And I believe in my fans. I believe in the guys who are playing with me. I believe in my business partners down there, Event Masters, Global Moves, LJ, the whole thing. We are going to make it happen. That's being engaged in it. Then the environment, my team, my fans, my people, social media, putting the plan together. Awesome. And by the way, we're going to talk about some other stuff in a little bit. But I'm just doing the recap from last weekend and the things that we have to do to be able to take to go forward. Deeper, dream, engaged in it. I'm committed. Environment, the team around me. And they're like, yo, look, this is working. Yeah. I have a new person I'm bringing on that I'm really excited. Two people I'm, bringing on in 2026 that I'm very excited to work with. One is like, got to get organized. We need more consistency around your messaging, around your colors, your this, that, the other. And I'm like, thank you, because my best thinking got me right here. And if you could see this control room that I'm looking at and all these other screens, and there's one over here, also on another screen over there, you'd be like, Marcus is a madman. I sure am. I'm obsessed about making sure that I can give this positivity to you. That's what this is about. I believe in my message and the fact that this message has a positive effect in the world. So dream, engage, environment, having people that tell you yes and tell you why, tell you no, tell you why. Then the plan, the written plan. Right? So, right here, some of the stuff we're going to get in today. I was talking to Black Vance today. We are talking some strategic stuff that's really interesting about how we can close the last bit of the direct to consumer loop in wine. We don't have a lot of retail. We're fighting, multi-billion dollar companies. That's cool. It's, but we got to do it. What is it? Is it in our heads? Mm-mm. I sent a plan to Fern Stroud over at Black Vines. You know what she came back with today? A refined plan of my plan with a like, hey, look, this is what we need to do right now. Let's do step one, step two. We'll follow this and keep it rolling. That is the written plan because life gets crazy. In the midst of doing all this, I've changed formats. I had to go get Chase. I'm kind of tired. I didn't get to work out today. I wanted to eat better today. Thank you for, I cheated Chick-fil-A. I'm back into my workout program and everything like that. I'll get up early in the morning and, finish that out. But I still have to do my plan. I still have to make sure that, I'm here at 8 o'clock to make sure I have some level of consistency for you. I still got to get some rest because I'm a human being. Oh, and by the way, little girl is upstairs. So if you know my trip from last week, this is it, right? So what I had this last Wednesday night. Thursday, I performed for Access Housing, where I was with Mark Clark, Allison Seymour, and Tommy Davidson. Great event to create awareness and raise money so that they can build their facility out or refurbish their facility, two facilities in Washington, D.C. And that's for homeless veterans. There should not be such a thing as a homeless veteran. I don't think that there should be a thing because that's why we can sit here and chill on a Wednesday night, right? And then Thursday, I got on a plane early in the morning, rolled out to, well, I had weather. So I was locked at DCA airport for a few hours. I got in at 3:30 to be able to do a 4:30 sound check, which means that we didn't go over the music, most of it. Gerald and Paul killed it. We had fun. I met with people, hung out, saw old friends. Latoya, what's up? We hung out as well. Then I flew back on Saturday because I was trying to make Chase's play. Well, thank God we had a 200-mile-an-hour tailwind. I got in 40 minutes early and I caught the last 5 minutes of her thing, right? So that was amazing for me. But then I had to have her Sunday morning. And I was responsible for being with her on Sunday and getting her there on time. So I got her there Sunday. She hung out with me Sunday night. We had to do some math after she got off stage, killing it as Cinderella. Then Monday came around again, and it's bill time. What's going on here? What are we doing? How are the sales going for this week? Hey, Neil, did you get the ads up? Oh my God, I'm posting, and you all see that I am posting like crazy. That is not an app. That's Marcus. On YouTube, on IG, on Facebook, those captions, I'm putting that stuff up. I'm engaged with you all wherever I need to be and making that happen. So, like, yeah, that stuff is going on, and you still have to have a written plan because if not, you will jump. You'll jump, like literally. There will be times where you're like, I can't handle this. And in my book, I have this chapter called "For the Love of Being Stuck," and the idea is this: when it rains really hard and you can't see out of your window, what do? You don't keep on going. You put your blinkers on and you pull off to the side of the road. Why? Because it's dangerous. And if it's dangerous on the road, it's dangerous in your soul. So I want to make sure that, you are giving yourself the allowance to pull over, let the rain stop, playa, and then get on to your next thing. And so, the storm always passes. It may pass with a little damage, but it always passes. And then you can get back up and do what you need to do. And that's how we get our flow on, you all. So that's dream, engage, environment plan, execute. Now you got to go do it. And all that stuff on the plane, and you seeing me with, shooting out of the window at Alaska Airlines, winglets, reducing drag and increasing fuel economy and everything in the plane, and putting music to that, like, that's the execution. Getting off the plane, playing, shaking hands, giving hugs, all that stuff, that's part of what we do. And for those of you all who are musicians and or have people in your life that are musicians, let me tell you to tell them this. Yo, this is your business now, man. This is what you do. This is who you are. You are a CEO of you. So when you go out and execute, this is no, well, I hope somebody sees me one day and I'm going to be good. I'm going to be a superstar because I'm going to go viral. Not happening, shorty. 9 times out of 10, I say 9.99 times out of 10, not happening. Can you be successful at this though? Yes. How do you do it? One step at a time with a plan, with an overall goal and going deeper. And then at the end, it's reflecting. And that's what we do in our meetings on, Wednesdays with Black Vines. That's what I do when I get on an airplane and I can cut everything off, or I get a Monday morning where I can kind of reflect a little bit and I go over my notes of what's happening, or I'll talk to Neil, what's going on with our ads, or LJ, how are things going? What are we missing? Is it our ticket pricing? Is it our ads and the way that we're doing it? Is it the venue? Um, is that what's working? Is that what isn't working? So you reflect on it and then you start the process all over again. And that is literally what's going on in my head pretty much all the time. Right. And then, having the conversations with Chase on the 45-minute ride to school, where it's like, yo, baby girl, I got you. What's up? How you doing? Dad, I know when she says I'm feeling uncomfortable about something, I really look up to God. I'm like, yo, this is awesome. I really appreciate that, because that's what makes it very special. So deeper, dream, engage, environment, plan, execute, reflect. It's a life model. It's what we live by here. And having the written components of what you need on a regular basis, man, that's how we make this thing flow. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about parenting tonight. And as I had tears rolling down my face at my daughter's performance on Saturday, if you know me, you know that we can talk about all the other accomplishments that I have, but there's one that is important, and it is that girl upstairs. So if I have to relearn linear equations, which I do, then I will. I've already started working on my calculus and getting that back up so that we can have those conversations about it. But parenting as a guide is so important. So before we get into that, a little something for you. Let's see what we have here. Got this platform. We're doing this thing. Ecamm, love it. Hey Charlotte, how you doing? It's Marcus Johnson, and I wanted to announce that I'm teaming up with Black Love Charlotte as they work to empower and restore dignity to those facing hardship in Charlotte, one block at a time. Shout out to Deborah and what she's doing over there. Amazing stuff. Also, to let you know, I'm bringing guitarist Casey Leak and vocalist Casey Leak to the stage. She's going to do a set before we get on stage, but I have Reggie Graves on the stage with me. I'm going to have some other announcements about that, and it's December 11th at Event Masters. It's the same Marcus Johnson tradition and great music, great holiday music in and of itself. Just a different new place, and we are so excited to be with Event Masters. Food and drink will be available. You can find out information on VIP and general admission tickets at marcusjohnson360.com. I love you, I love you, I love you. Let's make this thing better. One sip, one sound, and one block at a time. Happy holidays, y'all. Look forward to seeing you there. Peace. What's up, little MJ there, little Road to Los Sueños. I've been pulling stuff up on the archives. If you are on the on any of our social media, man, I have like 30 years of music, and lately we have been having fun with just recording and playing, and the way that Biscuit plays drums in my DC group, and I mean he's my MD as well, and Chuki plays bass, and but when we get together, it's like we had the urban jam band. Somebody asked me about that recently, and it's the urban jam trio, as I put it. I think on a couple of these lately, and that's because, man, like, we're just urban jamming. I mean, there's a part of Smells Like Teen Spirit on one of the cuts that we have. And we always put this up. So don't forget, if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, follow, and, we'll let you know when we're doing another live, in the Professor's End. We do them on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. And, I try to talk a little bit about music, about business, about life. And one of the things that really hit me and affected me this weekend was yet again looking up at the stage from the seats and watching my daughter in a very unique scenario be Cinderella. And I mean, she sang her heart out and can sing, acted her heart out and can act, and the poise. And so I thought about all of the things that got us there, right? When I say us, got me in that chair and Chase on the stage. I'm not, I don't want to take any of that from Chase. She did it. She's the one that wanted to audition for Cinderella. She's the one that earned the role of Cinderella. So people sometimes they come up and they ask, like, well, how did you know what to do? And it goes back to another question that I often get, which is, Marcus, what is your most important key to success? And my most important key to success, in many ways, is something that I cannot take credit for, and that's being blessed with the parents that I had. Now, was my childhood perfect? Because Willa, although she might be 5'1", um, Willa could grow to like 9 feet tall in a single blink. And if you are one of the kids about my age, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They put those acronyms in, you better have your behind in the house, and not your behind, right? In the house at this time, or else YAIM, your ass is mine, kind of thing. That's the household that we grew up in. And my dad was also very much a stickler for discipline. And as a result, we have some success. But I also think that the way that my father talked to me, and I wanted to touch on, some ideas around like fatherhood and parenting, especially when you're doing it from 35,000 feet sometimes, and showing up might be the difference between your child really being able to get over a hump and not. And I didn't say showing up and with cookies and with flowers and with this, that, and the other. I said showing up, getting off the plane. I saw when my daughter saw that I was in the place, and it was the last 10 minutes of the play. And I saw her smile, that smile of my dad did it. Now, thank you, God, because I don't control the winds. And, thank you, Alaska Airlines, for getting our bags off in that 20 minutes that you promised. But for that, I wouldn't have seen, the first night, but I would have been there even for the after party. And, they had their little thing like that. That's what it's really all about, right? So, um, I talk to Chase a lot, and I've talked to Chase for a long, long time. When I found out that Chase was on the way, um, I began to read all the books that I could about parenting, because I was terrified until I went into the OBGYN's office and I heard zzz, 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 and I heard the heartbeat, and I was like, oh my God, that's my daughter, right? Or my kid. At the time, I didn't know if it was a daughter or a son, but that heartbeat was there. And I've had other experiences, with my ex-wife when I was married before that, you go from hearing a heartbeat to not, and it's devastating. And so hearing Chase's heartbeat, I didn't care what, I was doing relationship wise. I knew I was about to have a kid. And that kid had a heartbeat that was like, yo. So I was like, what can I do to be better? So I started reading. I mean, that's also, Kindle was starting to really get and take shape and traction, and audiobooks. And I learned things like abundance theories, like, look, when your kid has something and wants to get something else, help them get rid of the thing that they have so that they can make space for the next thing. And so, what are we talking about there? We're talking about attachment and detachment. And those are, detachment is a skill that's needed that a lot of us don't possess as adults right now. So, we spend a lot of time in therapy reparenting, right here, reparenting and trying to learn what we need to do to detach from things, purging, making space, not being super judgmental, but come talk to me. And, Chase understands, if anything, that she can come and talk to her dad about anything. And Chase comes and talks to me about anything. And, it is, and I'm smiling on the inside because I'm like, do I go deep into what we talk about? But it's those things that 13 and 14-year-olds talk about. I mean, as a father of a young lady, I am well aware of what products that she needs. Because if she's at soccer or at a rehearsal and she needs something, well, who better than me to go and make sure that she's taken care of that way, right? And some people may be like, "Oh my God, that's sorry." Like that, I'm there, babe. Do you have a packet? Are you cool? And finding out when you're going to be a father of a daughter, or a mother of a son, what that means to have a child that is a different gender than you are, that's going to have different physical needs than you. And I'm keeping this kind of in, I'm looking at this frame that I have right here to make sure that I'm in the vertical distance for IG. I'm going to keep things in boundaries. You know what I'm talking about, regardless of where your kid falls on any particular spectrum. But even if it's outside of that, you need to spend even more time. The big problem is that parents are always trying to force kids into the mold of what they want. And it's really making sure, not of what makes us feel comfortable, but doing the things that help them to build their own mold, to build their own life, their own ideology. Because I often say, and I put a post up about this not too long ago, where I can't make my daughter do anything and I cannot stop her from doing anything. But if I can make her think before she does that dumb thing, or that she thinks and does that thing that's actually beneficial to her and her life, then man, I have done exactly what I'm supposed to do. That is what a father is. And I use the term guide a lot because I believe we're in a scenario where it is guidance. We're tour guides and not travel agents, right? Don't do this, don't do that. Da, 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 da. No, come here, let me tell you something. Let me tell you about how I messed this completely up. And I think that part of the camaraderie, I would say, and the vulnerability that Chase trusts with me is based on the fact that I've been very vulnerable with her. Dad was not perfect. Dad, honestly, out of the crew, was probably, and my brothers and sisters, I was the bad boy. One of my sisters may have been right there with me, and she knows that she's watching this. Who she is. But I did things my way, and I got me in trouble a lot. But I learned a lot from that. When I was young, I went from household to household. There was a thought that maybe I was gonna, Marcus is ADHD. Don't let them label your kids like that. My dad refused that. He was a psychologist. My son is not ADHD, right? He was able to step in. But what that has done, and actually leaving an open line of communication without trying to totally sculpt Chase to be what makes me feel comfortable, is key. Well, Marcus, what happens? I want my daughter or my son to be successful. What does that mean? Because I guarantee you, what success looks like in a year and a half from now is going to be significantly different than what is what success looks like today and what it looked like 5 years ago. I mean, I've taught myself, albeit I'm going to have somebody else do some better graphics for me here. But in a day, I taught myself this new platform. You see my logo over here. You see the Marcus Johnson up there. You see me switching scenes, building scenes out, etc. How did I do that? I did that on YouTube. I taught myself how to trade on YouTube. It's a whole new day out here for parents. Well, I don't want my kids on social media. Man, okay, I do understand why. And I know that there are a lot of studies that are out there about the detriments for social media. Um, I say use your best judgment, read up on it. There are points in time where they're going to have to understand how to use it. And it's like, it is a catch 22, but I would err on the side of having open communications with your kid. Like Chase's phone is attached to my whatchamacallit. But Chase's phone is attached to my iPad. And so iPad and my computer. So she's always like, oh, I'm not on my phone. I'm like, Chase, you're on Pinterest right now. Bring your phone down. And then we have a conversation because I would rather her tell me the truth and get in trouble or just give me the phone, really, than to lie to me, because then we have another problem. And we've gone through that process of, if you tell me the truth, you're not going to get in trouble. Yeah, I'm on the phone, Dad. Okay, I need you to bring it downstairs because you have a math quiz tomorrow. Cool. Conversation, yet discipline. And I think that leads into another idea of parents nowadays who want to be, friends with their kids. I think Chase pretty much knows that I don't give a crap about whether or not she is my friend. I don't care if she likes me. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that she demonstrates to herself that she loves herself. What does that mean? That means cleaning up your room. That means putting your dish in the dishwasher. That means washing your clothes. Chase has been washing her clothes over here for a while, drying her clothes, folding her clothes, grabbing the whatchamacallit, oh my God, what's the thing? A vacuum cleaner, cleaning up, cleaning your toilet, understanding what that is. Yes, because we're on my family, we are FSOWs, and that's former slaves of Willa. And as you know, my mom's name is Willa. So those are the things we did. We cleaned. We know how to fold, sheets so that they look like, when you see a bed that you were at a high-end hotel. That's what we learned. That's how we learned it. Because my mom did not care about whether or not she liked us, we liked her. It was a matter of understanding that there was a level of respect with goals and objectives for her. So now with Chase, I really do turn that around. And I'm even to the point where I say, I don't want you to show me. I want you to show you, and I'm going to watch. Because showing me is you are going to people please right here, that guy right here, people please somebody else. And you're going to be able to be led on whatever ride somebody else wants to take you on because you're trying to appease them. That's not success. I even tell Chase, like, Chase, she's having a hard time in math this year. And we can talk about a couple of different reasons why. But I'm like, your seventh grade math grades, I'm not going to condemn you to failure because, condemn you to failure in life and that you're no good because you're having problems with algebra with a teacher. Again, I might have some questions about how she teaches compared to how I teach. But Chase, you have access to Notebook LM. You have access to YouTube. Let's go in and figure out how to do linear equations. Let's figure out how to do distribution, expansion, et cetera, of algebraic terms. Let's work on that. We can work on that together. But this is not my life, Chase. This is your life. I can go upstairs and show my degrees. I can look over here and see all the awards that I've gotten. I need an award room. between business and music and all the other stuff, community activism, et cetera. So I got that, right? That's not yours, baby. You can leverage it for you, but you have to know what you are going to do. And I think that's the overall idea of this concept of parenting that we need to get on. Who is your kid? Do you know who your kid is? Well, it's my job to mold them. You should put that in Google and or ChatGPT and or YouTube and see how that's working for people. It's my job to mold my kid. Maybe we should have a show on that if that's how you really feel. Because it is not your job to mold your kid, because that is impossible. It's impossible to do it unless in those rare occasions the way that you want to mold your kid fits in with the paradigm that isn't 20, 30, 40 years old, right? Because of the way that you were raised back in the day. I don't see it happening. What is your kid? Chase is a creative. Do I think Chase is even at the right school? I don't know. But she's there now, and I know that she's going to excel wherever she is because I'm challenging her for her. Yeah, her mom, went to a great school. Yeah, her dad went to great schools. Chase, you may not go to college. But if not, do you have a plan on what that looks like? College may not be relevant in 5 years with AI. Again, you know what I'm doing here. I'm going to the outskirts, right? I'm not saying that college won't be relevant, but what if it isn't? Then if my kid's whole life has been based on, well, my mom went to Harvard, my dad went to Georgetown and Howard, I have to go to an Ivy League school. Maybe you don't. What do you want, Chase? And from the time Chase popped out, I was talking to her just like this. Hi, you're Chase. My name is Marcus. I'm your dad. And I will love you until the day I die. Period. Look back at me. Doctors looked around and were like, that's kind of weird because she stopped crying and she's looking at you like she knows exactly what you're saying. You want to know why? Because she did. Familiar voice reading to her when she was, before she got here. And then the voice of like a father saying, baby, I'm here for you. Welcome. Let's go. And from that point on, whether it's, walking to school, or she had torticollis where her shoulder was kind of like this, and, going to therapy 2 to 3 times a week, then going to schools, making sure play dates, play groups, all that kind of stuff. Boys pushing her down. And, one time we were at a park and the boy pushed her down. And she looked at me and I looked at her and I looked at her just like this. And she's like, about to go. And I was like, when you play with the boys, you have to play like the boys play. Now, I did have a conversation with the gentleman, young man, kid who was acting rather trifling. But, I wanted my daughter to know, like, look, it's going to be a point in time. What if I'm not here? Can you take care of you? And if you can't, nobody said you had to play that way with them that way. You can always remove yourself. You are always in control of your environment. Very important to teach your kids that. One, what are you dreaming about? Talk to me about it. What do you think about, kid? Let me tell you what I thought about and what excited me when I was growing up. That's tour guiding. What are you committed to? Well, let's look at your calendar. Because if we look at what you did in the last week, Chase, I can tell you exactly what you're committed to. A lot of time on K-pop music. Is that what you're going to do the rest of your life? No. Well, then you need to focus. Let's put a schedule and a cap on this time. No, I'm not going to make you stop listening to K-pop music. I'm not going to make you stop doing this over here. But I want you to think about it in the grand scheme of what are you committed to? But I need you to be committed to something and some things. Well, who's your environment around you, Chase? Well, Dad, now she comes to me, she's like, so and so. Like the other day, she said, Dad, I don't even know if these people were ever really my friends. And I'm like, wow. She's like, I go and I sit with them, and sometimes they make me feel uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, baby, well, why don't you go and start your own table, even if it's chicks by herself? Now, I know you all are like, Marcus, she's 13, it's girls, etc. And I'm going to say, you're absolutely right. And then I'm going to kick back to you. And that's still not, I'm not okay with that. I'm going to challenge my daughter to be the one that goes and says, this is Shake's table. This is me controlling my ticket sales. Do you want ticket sales to this party over here? Well, then you need to come over here and deal with this stuff this way. I hear you. I hear you, Jay. Kay, you're saying that she said some of us adults need this. Absolutely. I'm talking to you all through your kids and what you need to do. And you're modeling, right? Yo, no, I'm not going out this weekend. No, I'm not going to hang out. I'm going home. I'm focusing on, this because at the end of the day, we live with ourselves every day, 24/7. Remember, our only lifelong partner is us. And with our lifelong partners only being us, we're going to do some things right and we're going to do some things wrong. But we have to have that life model, right? And then we model that for our kids. That's a very important concept that we have to have. So, absolutely. Everything that I'm telling you to do for your kids is because I want you to do the same thing. I want you to take accountability and live life, not live society. Society says that I should. Who? Is that your table with your tickets to your table? No, that's not society. Well, so and so said, okay, is that what you want? Is that what you're committed to? And remember, all of this, whether it is, oh, Papo from Dakar, what's up? We got to talk, man. So glad to see you here. Man, what a great trip to Dakar. Um, Going back to what I was saying, though, time. You owe it to yourself to take the time to figure out what questions you need to ask your son or your daughter. You need to take time to be able to look into your kids' eyes and see them when they lean over on you when you are, on the way home. Time for you to take time with, you and just like, you know, when you need to talk to you, when you need to take care of you, you know? And it's okay for you to take care of you. What a novel idea. Let's sit back on that one. It's okay for you to take time to take care of you and put your seatbelt and mask on so then you can go to your kids, and say, yo, y'all, look, I was thinking about this. What do you think about this? Oh, well, kids are too young. They don't have experiences. Yeah, but they may have eyesight and insight that you don't have because your best thinking got you exactly where you are today. How about that one? So if you're where you are and it's not perfect, and by the way, probably isn't, your best thinking got you there. Why not open a dialogue with your kids? Well, kids are supposed to do certain things and we're supposed to do certain things. How's that working for you in the relationship with your kids? At the end of the day, too, are you putting the time in so that you need to do the things that you need to do for yourself and to take care of yourself and to do the self care of yourself and the love on yourself? But at the same time, it's what you do for your kids, man. Are you taking that time to do that as well? Hey, kids, what do you think? I value your opinion. Is that going to make a kid feel, and I say kid, I'm sorry, I'm just old, but like, is that going to make your child feel good or bad? My parent actually asked me what I thought about that. I don't know. Well, can you help me with that? Maybe that's the empowering thing that they need, to know that they're human or their parents are human just like they are. And their parents are going through the same thing just like they are. Wait, my dad has troubles? I do. My daughter sees me in front of everybody. Does my dad have anxiety about certain things? I do. Do I want to get better? I do. Am I afraid of self help? I am not. As a matter of fact, I do all I can to work out as much as I can so I can get better, self better. And then I read everything that I can to get self better. And then sometimes I sit and listen to a 10, 11, 12, back when she was 6 and wanted to save seals. I sit back and listen to her and I'm just like, yo, look, man, yo, who gave you that idea? How did you think of that? Well, Dad, I just think that, one day, she said this at 6, if we don't take care of the planet, the earth is going to get mad at us. You're 6 and you understand that humanity is the most fragile thing, or at least one of them here, and we're acting like we're the thing ruling everything. And you're 6? Oh my God. Whoa, we're ahead of the game. Let's talk about it. Tell me more. That was her first persuasive paper when she first learned how to speak and write English. And then going on and on now to where she's, giving back through arts. It's investing time. And this is the duo thing, right? It's investing time in yourself, it's investing time in your family, and then that allows you to be a better seed into the community. And it's a guiding, not molding. You better, man. As soon as you say that, how do you feel when somebody tells you you better? Well, Marcus, that's what we're supposed to do with our kids. I didn't say that you shouldn't guide them. But the you betters and the this is and the na 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 and these kind of things, that's not working for society. Sitting and talking to your kid is. Well, how do I get them to do it? That's where you might have to use a little parental, guidance and force, or just persuasion. You're not going to use the car. You're not going to get your phone. You're not hanging out with your friends. We need to go to therapy. Not you need to go to therapy. We need to go to therapy to talk to somebody. Marcus, I can't afford therapy. If you're in a private school, go talk to the, private school. If you're in a public school, excuse me, go talk to the counselor. And if you're in a private school, you are paying for a counselor, Shadi. How about them apples, right? You better go and talk to the person there. Say, like, my kid's experiencing some things. Can you walk us through this? What are you seeing out here in the world today with other 13-year-old girls or boys? What's going on right now? How should I be navigating this? That's why you pay taxes, number one, to be able to get that kind of counseling from your counselor. It's just not to get a brochure from them in the 10th grade about where you're going to go to college. They're counselors, they're trained. They're trained to help you in this process. We're just scared to use them. And most of us don't even know that they're accessible, which leads to the whole other part of like, yo, man, making sure that you're also knowing your resources out in the world, your county resources, your municipality, city resources, child development, rec centers. You can have almost a Planet Fitness for $5 a month if there's a fee. If you're a resident in like Montgomery County or Prince George's County or Loudoun County and those places like that, but they have the same services to be able to go and say, I need to talk to somebody, man. This is why you pay those taxes. And again, like I said, if you're lucky enough and I could almost say or stupid enough, but I won't say that, but to be in private school, then you have your kid in private school, you are paying for those additional resources. Very, very important, man, to understand these things. It goes with the deeper model of dreaming, engaging, environment, planning, executing, and reflecting. And not letting anybody sway you from what you need to be doing. You know what's best. Taking the time with yourself and your kid to figure out where they want to go. Well, when do I do that, Marcus? Yesterday would have been a good time to start. I don't care how old they are. Yesterday would have been a great time to start figuring out this is what my kid needs. Or this is not what they need. This is where they want to go. Oh no. Cool. Let's start figuring it out. Well, what do I do? What are some of the things you like? Let's talk about it. You like this, you like that. Hey, the chances of you making it in the NBA are this, but what are the chances of you running an NBA team? What are the chances of you being a great athletic director? What are the chances of you running Nike? Now, it may not be NBA, but you may make money where you pay NBA people because you're making so much money. That right there, that's the stuff. That's the stuff that these dreams are made of. And it's so very important that we have these conversations, self and kid, taking time with yourself, taking time with your child, taking time with yourself, taking time with your child and their friends. You have to just be willing, as you said, KJ, to sit back and start the conversation. The conversation is so important. And you don't, hey, you could be a partner at McKinsey, you could be a partner at Scatton, you could be a partner at Marcus Johnson 360, you could be a school teacher. It doesn't matter where you are. The perfect thing to do is to start the conversation wherever you are. Yesterday, what do you like? Who are you? How can I help you? When was the last time you asked that of people that you love? When was the last time you asked yourself that? Right? How can I help you? What can I do for you? How's that working for you, baby? Hey, let me see your homework. I don't understand this. Let's find somebody who does. Start asking the questions. And if you have an unknown, then get somebody to help you answer the question. That builds the trust with your child and anybody else that you're dealing with. I don't know. It was really interesting. So when I did the deal with for Three Keys Music and got funding from Bob Johnson, I had put a business plan together. Um, and we had a lunch. I met him at Rehoboth Beach Jazz Festival. He had been eyeing me for a while, right? And he asked how he could be involved. I was like, let me get my business plan to you, et cetera, et cetera. So we did a couple iterations, and he asked me a question one day. And I said, man, Bob, I don't know. And he was rolling up his sleeves and he's like, and I'm going to tell you this. I already knew I was going to do this deal, but I'm going to do this deal. And let me tell you one of the reasons why. Nobody tells me they don't know. Everybody tries to bullshit and I know this or get this or give me bad answers. He's like, you don't understand how I appreciate the fact that you just said, yo, look, I don't know. Because you know what, Marcus? I know you're going to figure out the answer. I know you're going to go where you need to go. You're vulnerable enough to find the answer. That vulnerability is how you build the trust with your kids. When you're vulnerable with them, like, I don't know, but we can do this together, man. And by the way, is this like, if I check these check boxes, it's going to be all, better? No, hell no. It's part of the process, though. It is definitely a key, to getting in the right places, asking the right questions, and then where you don't have an answer, where you can help guide your kid, then getting on the road to finding the information that you need. How can I be a better parent? Ooh, I'm honored to be your parent. What am I doing wrong? What do you think I'm doing wrong? Well, what does my kid know about that? Here's the thing that really confuses me about most people that are adults. You forget about the fact that you were 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 21, 25. Like, you forget about that, right? And you had a definite idea of how your parents treated you. And wish that they would say, like, I wish they would just ask me how they're doing so I can tell them this is hurting me. What can I do better? And if I don't know how to do that, getting the help to get it done, getting on a book or in a book, asking somebody. Because the idea is that you're not only guiding your kid, you're guiding yourself and you're guiding the relationship with your child. That is what matters. And again, can you imagine how it is doing that when you're traveling at 650 miles an hour at 35,000 feet above the air and you're trying to figure out what's going on? That means that you have to be a lot more open to just other non-traditional ways of parenting than people did in the past. I need my daughter to feel comfortable reaching out to me. Do your kids feel comfortable reaching out to you? Does your kid feel comfortable reaching out? Do you feel comfortable? Because that communication is going to be the make or break. That is a key. That is one of those things where if you can say, my kid has really great conversation and really good communication with me, man, oh, the things that that will do. And then when you open them up, because now they understand you're vulnerable, you can get the real answers. You can get the real waypoints. Where are we going? I don't want to do this. I like I'll do math, but I really want to act. I don't want to play piano. I like math. I don't want to do gymnastics. I want to do robotics. I want to try ballet. I want to do soccer. And some of these things, man, they challenge our comfort. That's not the job of a parent to be comfortable. Probably one of the most uncomfortable things that anybody could ever do because you're so vested in it. Take comfort out of it. Embrace being uncomfortable so that you can get your kid where they need to go. And it starts with conversation. What is your dream? What are you committed to? What are you engaged in? Who's your environment around you that's telling you the things you need to hear? Write a written plan, Chase. Show me what you're going to do this weekend, next week. Are you doing it? Did you go to rehearsal? Did you practice your lines? Did you go over the math problem until you got sick of it and then do it 3 more times? And did you sit back and say, man, I did the right thing here and I made it happen? That is the life model. That is going deeper. I don't think if you do that with your child that they can do anything but be like, damn, my parent is trying. Now, they're going to be kids because, by the way, I know you were, I was. But man, being able to be like, Dad, I think I'm going to be in trouble. What, son? I think I did this and this and this. And having my dad crack up to be like, yeah, dude, you're not going to be in trouble. You're going to be a superstar, right? Like these funny, stupid things, right? The dads can tell their sons, that women can tell their daughters, that women can tell their sons, that dads can tell their daughters. I mean, Chase and I have some pretty interesting conversations now. My friends are like, what? And I'm like, better me than some knucklehead kid. Why wouldn't I want to tell her these things? Just tell her to be vulnerable with me, but not be vulnerable. You can only talk to me the way that a child should talk to a parent. Nah, nowadays, too many other things that they have easy access to when I'm not around. I'd rather them have in the back of their head, yeah, man, I need to go talk to my pops about this one. I need to go talk to my mom about this one. I need to go talk to my aunt about this one. And setting the time up every 2 weeks to talk to them. It's an iterative process, man. Helping them to make space for new things, getting rid of old things, detaching, not being attached. That stuff will make all the difference in the world. So take a short break. We're going to be right back at you in a second. It's the professor's in. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Toxic Gameplays, what's up to you? I'm glad you love the music. I appreciate that. Here's a little something. We have Busboys and Poets coming up next week on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Shirlington and Hyattsville. It goes a little something like this.
Welcome out to Busboys and Poets Columbia.
Hey, High Point, how you doing? It's Marcus Johnson, and I'm on
Uh-oh.
my way back to you. On December the 12th.
That's what I love about this. I can stop that. It was High Point. We are going to High Point. That's on a Friday. Looking forward to that one. Oh, I do have it in here, so I'm going through this new screen thing. Let's see. What's up, Kev? On security, flow all day, brother. Flow for the love of you. That's how we do it. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on Facebook and Instagram and all that jam. Yeah, man, we're having some fun here. So, in wrapping the show, because I got to get ready to get out of here because I'm on the road for a lot this weekend. This whole thing is, kids don't need they don't need to be a replica of us, excuse me. You know, they need a parent who is brave enough to um, who's brave enough to understand their unique wiring, right? And if you ask parents that have like two kids, three kids, some of them are like, if I didn't watch it happen, I would not know that these were all my kids. You know what I mean? So, it's you just don't know. But spend the time. Ask the questions. Ask the hard questions. What do you like? Who are you? And I tell Chase all the time, baby, if you're a C student in math, I'm gonna believe you. Are you? No, Dad, I'm not. I need you to show you and I'll watch. Really key. Show you, don't show me. Show you and I'll be here. Well, what does it take? It takes studying. It takes doing it over and over. It takes maybe staying after school. Do you need me to pick you up later? Do you need me to come in and sit with? Marcus, I don't have time for that. Okay. So then maybe it's on the weekends where you can get with the notebook LM. We have the tools now, you all. If you don't understand it, you can try that first. And then if you can't do it from there, there are other resources that are there. But you have to find them. You have to ask the questions first. Self care for them, very important. The questions of who they are, very important. Who they're hanging with, very important. Guiding them, very important. And nine times out of kid, your kid is not going to be exactly like you. And for me, that's a great thing because, I live with the faults of Marcus Johnson all day, every day. All day, every day. Things I need to do, people I need to pay, places I need to go, you know, every single day. Things I have done. That's the problem with the human mind. Things that I have done. That person back here, oh my God. Oh my God. That thing going off in the back of your head telling you all those things that you did. Man, go online and get a piece of paper. Go in Canva and ask it to make you a paid in full sign and write down on that, hey, look, this is what I did wrong back in the day. This is the thing that I did that I'm still embarrassed about. This is the thing where I hurt that person. These are all the mistakes that I made. You can keep a running tab on it and call it the paid in full book because what you do is you stamp that. You can even go to Staples and just for the physical, but the physical action of taking your paid in full stamp and stamping that shit and being like, yo, this is paid in full. That needs to go in the paid in full book. And then you teach that to your kids. Because the thing that these kids hold on to where they end up harming themselves, and there's a lot of that going on, one is we're not engaging with them. And we're engaging with them in the wrong way. And that they need to know that they can come to us. Not AI, not your friends, not anybody else. You can come directly to me. I got you. Right? I may not have the answer, but I got you. And that's key. You may not have the answer. I may not have the answer, but I will help you figure that out. That's the award winning prize right there. Then you continue to learn too. But like, man, you take the time to put that time in, man. Ask the proper questions and then be there so that they can come to you and not these other things. You're their resource. You're a resource. For a while, you'll be the main one. And you may always be the best one, the most enlightened because you saw them pop out. You know what I mean? And then you can say, like, I've seen you. I know how you are. And my dad used to do that, and I would smile. And I do it with Chase, and man, she smiles. It's amazing that relationship. You should be doing that with yourself as well. One more time, it's making sure that you understand your dreams, engaged in an environment, plan, execute, reflect, and then you do that with your kids. Figure out those things that matter to them. Figure out their triggers. Make sure they're not yours. And if they are, you got to do whatever you can to make sure that they get out of there. Being goal and purpose oriented. And I'll leave with this. I saw Chase's head of school today, and we were talking about how Chase was getting over the fact that Cinderella's done now, and she was Cinderella for 2 shows. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm gonna share some videos soon. And how she was coming down off of it, and I was explaining how that happens in music as well, and it happens in life and relationships as well. And what I tell Chase and what I tell you all is this: make sure that you do the thing that is your purpose and not necessarily the goal and objective. Because every time I've reached the goal and objective, I've been depressed. You get a CD done, man, it's done. Now what? I was all energized, had all the endorphins, all the excitement, to get it done. Then you get it done. It's like, oh God, now I got to go tour. Get the tour done. Oh my God, it's this. But when you move in purpose, that's perpetual. My purpose is creating great music wherever I can, enjoying every note that I play every day, enjoying every breath, every sight, everything that I hear. When you can be in purpose, you can make this thing of life a continuous, like positive journey. It's gratitude. Like, thank you. I am in purpose. What's your purpose? Well, mine is to take my successes and failures and, help people understand to change the things that they can and to accept the things that they can't. That's my purpose. How do you do that? From the stage, from a podcast, from the professors in, and on and on and on. So I'm going to get out of here. Remember to be faithful and not fearful, to be loving and not fearful. Um, I don't know. I didn't say this, but I know you all know you can always leave questions. And if you have any topics for the next show, please let me know. Please send them. And we can talk more about parenting. I know that's very important. And I'll have more of a handle on this platform. I like it because I'm seeing myself on my IG. YouTube is over here. I'm seeing comments from IG, YouTube, and Facebook. So I'm really excited about that. And pretty soon, we're also going to be able to use this to record my shows live. And then you'll be able to take that with you. And, we're going to have high definition recordings. It's going to be a really great year. And I look forward to, if Candace is on, I look forward to working with Candace. D Stu, you got it, man. You're so welcome for the words. Let me know if there's anything, if you have any questions in the next couple of minutes or next minute or so, please drop them in. But off to Charlotte tomorrow. We're going to be at Event Masters. I'm looking forward to hanging out with them, my buddy LJ and John. Hope speedy recovery, John. Then on Friday, Friday we're at the Townsend Lounge on Townsend in High Point. It's going to be amazing as well. Looking forward to playing with the great Casey Leak from North Carolina, singer, guitar player, man. We've been having some fun. Reggie Graves, Derwin, who used to do the jazz set at the Ritz Carlton, will be with me tomorrow night. And then on Sunday, we're at Big Bethel AME Church in downtown Atlanta. And, I can't tell you all to do and think outside of the box or think creatively and not do creative things. My fraternity brother, is the pastor of that church. And so we're going to be in Atlanta. Tickets are selling really well for that. I'm very excited. And always, you can get tickets for the events at marcusjohnson360.com. Social media is at marcusjohnson360. There are a myriad of ways to get in contact with me. If you DM me on any of these, I generally get back to you relatively fast. I'm pretty insane about that. But I do look forward to talking more. Take your deeper model with you. Dream, engage, environment, plan, execute, reflect. And don't forget, we're almost at Christmas. So Busboys and Poets all next week. and then Keystone Corner the week after that. But we will be back next week with the professors in, and hopefully you'll get us some new topics. I have a ton to talk about. Even I didn't even get halfway through this outline that I had. This could be an entire series and show in and of itself. Being a brother who is on the road and being a father. What about even being a partner? You know, talking about the realities of leaving the ones you love at home, not being around. Fear of, like, when you come back, is it all going to be gone? Is somebody going to be in your place, doing what you do? That's the real stuff they don't talk about. Everybody's like, it must be rough dating a musician. It must be rough dating an entrepreneur. Man, imagine how the person feels when they leave that door and they close it. Is everything going to be cool while I'm gone? Is everything going to be cool when I get back? Man, that's a lot. Ask the right questions. Find the answers. And you too will get your flow on. I love you. I love you. I love you. And always do your flow. I'm Marcus Johnson. This is part of the Flow podcast. The professor was in, and now the professor is out. You all take care. I'll see you next week, and I'll see you online. Peace.
We ain't playing around, y'all. We ain't playing around. Hey, High Point, how you doing? It's Marcus Johnson, and I'm on my way back to you. On December the 12th, I'm going to be in High Point, and we're going to have the Flow Holiday Tour, which is a night of holiday cheer, fun, love, and some great music. As such, I'm bringing one of your own. When we did the sickle cell event a couple of months ago, we met Casey Leak. I did, and I was like, Casey, let's come on back. LJ's like, yo, man, we got to do this. So Casey Leak is not only going to be on stage with me, but he's going to have his own set. So two great artists, food and drink are included with your ticket. But my VIP folk, you get something a little bit extra. Don't forget, you can get your tickets at MarcusJohnson360.com. Look, I love you. I love you. I love you. Always do your flow. It's me, Casey Leak, at the Townsend Lounge at the Golden Doors. Yo, we're going to put it down, High Point and Greensboro and Winston-Salem. I want to see you there. Come flow with me. Peace. Hey Charlotte, how you doing? It's Marcus Johnson, and I wanted to announce that I'm teaming up with Black Love Charlotte as they work to empower and restore dignity to those facing hardship in Charlotte, one block at a time. Shout out to Deborah and what she's doing over there. Amazing stuff. Also, to let you know, I'm bringing guitarist Casey Leak and vocalist Casey Leak to the stage. She's going to do a set before we get on stage, but I have Reggie Graves on the stage with me. I'm going to have some other announcements about that, and it's December 11th at Event Masters. It's the same Marcus Johnson tradition and great music, great holiday music in and of itself. Just a different new place, and we are so excited to be with Event Masters. Food and drink will be available. You can find out information on VIP and general admission tickets at MarcusJohnson360.com. I love you, I love you, I love you. Let's make this thing better. One sip, one sound, and one block at a time. Happy holidays, y'all. Look forward to seeing you there. Peace.
Here's what a mighty